I guess there are just some people in life that are such failures and have so little going for them that all they can do is attack, belittle, and bring other people down at any chance they get, even when there's nothing bad to say. And today we're sadly going to be talking about exactly that. So this story pretty much starts with this kid that's been recently receiving a ton of attention and just general praise for accomplishing something that a lot of people probably thought was impossible. So this kid did what pretty much everyone is calling right now beating Tetris. Now I don't know too much about how Tetris works, but this is pretty much the closest anyone has technically gotten to beating Tetris. There is like higher levels and stuff you can get to, but pretty much no one has ever gotten there because after a point the game just crashes and stops working, and this kid pretty much reached that goal. He got a high enough score to where the game just stopped working and completely stopped generating blocks. Now at least me personally, I know this isn't some sort of outrageously like crazy world-changing feat like curing cancer or solving world hunger, but I do think this is a huge accomplishment for what it is. This kid, and emphasis on kid, accomplished something that grown-ups haven't even been able to achieve for the better part of the last 30 years. And I guess, of course, I'm not the only one that thinks this is a huge accomplishment because it even made the news. Now, I don't really watch the news, so I don't know how they format it too much, but I'm pretty sure out of like every news segment, there's usually a positive. They usually report on like a ton of crime and a ton of negative stuff, and it seems like this was supposed to be that like positive, heartwarming portion of the news. But nope, it seems like that's just not how the news works. This lady that was supposed to be going over the, I guess, positive section of the news completely dragged it through the mud and just ruined the entire segment. What was something that was supposed to be super positive and like happy and upbringing just turned into absolute garbage because of this host. It's honestly hard for the words to even come out of my mouth of what she was trying to say here, so I'm gonna just go ahead and play the clip of it.
Now, Tetris has long been touted as a video game that just can't be beaten because it just goes on and on.
Oh my God!
Well, 13-year-old American Willis Gibson has technically proven that wrong. He beat the original Nintendo version of the game by reaching such a high level that the coding froze. That left the program unable to generate any more falling blocks. As a mother, I would just say step away from the screen, go outside, get some fresh air. Beating Tetris is not a life goal. Speaking of fresh air, let's get a look at the weather.
Now, like you've seen from that clip, like I said, I guess that was supposed to be like the positive section of the news broadcast. It showed pretty much what the kid did. He beat Tetris, you know, huge accomplishment, you know, big crazy reaction. And like I said, you know, I feel like that reaction is rightfully so. I feel like this is a huge achievement, especially for a kid to warrant him reacting like that. A while back when I was a kid, I'd react like that to way what I think is lesser things. I'd get like a great weapon out of like a supply drop in a game or something, and I'd start going crazy. So I feel like that reaction is definitely warranted. And like I said, you know, I feel like this was supposed to be the positive section of the news broadcast, and the news lady was supposed to react to it in, I guess, a positive manner. But as you can tell, she did literally the exact opposite of that. Instead of her pretty much just praising the kid like everyone else is doing, like, hey, great job, you did something that no one was able to do, even grown-ups, in the past 30 years, you know, good job. She just completely turned it around to pretty much talk crap about a kid. She's talking all this smack, oh yeah, go outside, it's not a life goal. It's literally a kid playing video games. I don't understand how you can be so miserable that it brings you to a point in life where you're talking crap about kids for playing games, and not even just playing games, but getting huge accomplishments and recognized for their skills in games. Her entire response to this is just completely flawed from the ground up. Starting with one of the worst parts being how she's just snobbily responding, remember, Tetris is not a life goal. I don't even understand where that argument could possibly arise from. Like I keep mentioning, this is a 13-year-old kid. I'm sure he's not looking at this in a fashion of this being some sort of crazy life goal. Oh, my life is over now. I don't need to do anything more. I don't need to work a job. This is it. This is what I've been. It's a kid. If there was a time for him to be playing games in his life, now is the time. He's a 13-year-old kid. So what if he's playing the game, especially if he's this good at it, to get recognized for his accomplishments in it? It's just such a bad take and statement overall. But moving to her next garbage point of go outside. Now just for a quick second of going back to the point that I said earlier of this being literally a 13-year-old kid at this point in his life, there's literally nothing wrong with him playing games. What is he supposed to be doing? Going outside and getting social every single day? What, going to the bar with some friends or something? Honestly, nowadays there's not even much you can do outside unless you're grown with a car and money. But for argument's sake, let's just even ignore the fact that he's a 13-year-old, and if anything, he should be playing games at this point in his life. Who's to say that he doesn't go outside? I like how she just automatically assumes that he just doesn't go outside, he's trapped up in the house all day, just playing games. I don't see how there's any possible way in this that could lead you to this kid being just a complete social outcast and a loser that doesn't go outside. He could have literally the most fulfilling social life ever, go outside every day, and also still just be great at Tetris. And kind of going back to the point from earlier of there's not even much to do outside unless you're grown with money, half the reason of that is because of people like her. Like, if this kid did want to spend all day outside, people like this would just ruin it. What, he goes around to like skate around on his skateboard or something? It's gonna be old boomer Karens like this that are just gonna ruin it and try to make his life as hard as possible for no reason. Oh, this kid is skating where he shouldn't be skating, I want to get the cops involved and get him arrested. Or he goes to play basketball or something. Oh, these kids are out there making a loud ruckus when they shouldn't be. It's like people like her literally ruin the outside experience. This lady is just making this entire situation something that it isn't. You know, it'd even be a bit more understandable if like this guy was some sort of like jobless 40-year-old bum, you know, that just dwells in his grandparents' basement all day and contributes literally nothing to anybody. Sure, that'd be a bit more understandable, but this is gonna be like the last time I go back on this reason, but it's literally a 13-year-old kid. We cannot forget that. I feel like all this is gonna do is be fuel to the fire of people pointing out how bad these modern news broadcasts are. Like, this is literally half the reason this like television broadcast news is dying off to start with, because all it is pure negativity. All it is just like a bunch of boomers watching it, just complaining about everything in life, and it seems like the younger generation, for obvious reasons, just doesn't want to watch that. It's just complete out of touch boomers complaining about literally everything like this lady. And speaking of out of touch boomers, going back to the point of her saying this isn't a life goal, sure, it might not be a life goal, but that's not to say that this can't be hugely beneficial for this kid. Like, sure, he may have not graduated from Harvard with the degree ever or something, but this can be like a huge kickstart to his career. If he wanted some sort of career in like YouTube gaming or something like that, he's already proved his skill and gotten a ton of attention already for this accomplishment. So it's not like he wouldn't even be able to transfer this into something that gives him some sort of monetary benefit like these old people are seeking so much. And speaking of out of touch boomers, I feel like one of the worst parts of this situation overall is that most of these old people do the exact same things. You know, they may not do it in the same exact fashion, they may not play video games or whatever, but they're doing the same thing for the most part, consuming electronic entertainment. Like, when you break it down to its core, all video gaming is just a form of course, electronic entertainment, like I said, and these old people do the exact same things. Half of them will sit there and watch like TV or like play a crappy mobile game on their phone for 7 to 9 hours a day. And honestly, if anything, I'd argue that gaming would be one of the better forms of entertainment, because like I said, with them watching their just brain dead, mindless content on TV, at least when you're playing video games, your brain is functioning. You know, it's trying to piece the puzzle together to, you know, get whatever you need to get done, whether that's staying alive, completing a level, doing whatever, you know, at least your brain is working. But with these old boomers, like I said, it's either some absolutely garbage, mindless, brain dead mobile game like Candy Crush or something, or just genuine brain rot, mindless consuming television content, like some sort of like garbage reality show or something. So it's literally no different. Oh, it's fine when they do it, but when kids are doing it, it's worse. If anything, it's worse when they're doing it, because like I keep saying, this is a kid. He should be playing video games. When they're full-grown adults and they're sitting there watching like some garbage show for 9 hours a day, it's just not a problem. Like, what? But yeah, as crummy as this story is, the only people who will even pay it the slightest bit of attention and like agree with her in the slightest margin would be old out of touch boomers. And if anything, hopefully this whole ordeal will just serve to put more people off of watching this like crummy public broadcast news, because it really never has anything worthwhile for watching for. The only thing that's even slightly beneficial on these like public news things is the weather. And pretty much everyone just has a weather app on their phone already, so it's no real use to be watching the news anyway. If you really want to get the local or global news that bad, it'll just be better to get it from one of the plethora of sources that we have around today. But yeah, that's pretty much it for this crummy situation today, hoping that news broadcasts slowly start dying down more, and appreciating this kid's huge accomplishment. Oh yeah, and right quick before I end, I know a lot of you probably don't pay too much attention to the background gameplay. There's like a high chance you're probably running my videos in the background or something while you're like doing homework or playing a different game or something. But if you guys have any recommendations for like background gameplay, because I'm kind of running out of stock, make sure to drop that in the comments as well. But yeah, with that said, I'll catch you guys in the next one.